Hi lads and lasses, Morten Aastad here with my first video of 2026. Coming to you from a wintry Oslo, Norway. Not as cold here as in other parts, but it's -5 here today. We got a bit of snow coming down. It's kind of windy, so -5 feels like -11, and -5, that is 20 degrees in you Fahrenheit people's world. So, although I'm really jonesing for a piping hot caffeinated beverage, as Adam the Woo would have said, I don't really feel like going out today, and I can't really get warm. So I put a Broncos jersey over my Broncos sweater jacket, or whatever you call them, hoodie jacket maybe. I thought I will tackle the my favorite new albums of 2025 today. So some of those albums that I really liked this year are not on vinyl. They are CDs. But I didn't feel like I had enough CDs that are new records this year in order to make a separate video. My CD purchases did pick up a little bit towards the end, but mostly getting, CDs that would add to existing collections. But I grabbed what is probably my favorite albums of 2025 on CD. And the first one I came up with was Loving You by Richard Ashcroft from The Verve. And funny enough, I've been listening to Verve quite a bit the last few days. It's typically a band where I grab the CDs I have, which are 4, I think, or is it 5, and listen to them all in sort of one go, and then it'll be a while until I listen to them again, usually. Next up, we have what is arguably my favorite Norwegian band of all time, at least that sings in Norwegian. And that's De Lillos with their 2025 offering, 20 Lillos uten filter, or 20 Lillos without a filter. And that's their latest offering. I bought this CD at our wonderful record shop here in Oslo, Big Dipper. And as you can see, I could have bought both the album and the CD signed, but yeah, they have a lot of albums, and I don't dare. I have a couple of them on vinyl from way back in the day, but because they've been releasing albums for is it 40 years this year? I think it was around 1985 or something like that. So yeah, that's De Lillos, and then the other favorite of the year. Apart from a couple that I got, like Deftones, that I recently got, but I haven't lived long enough with that record I've only been listening to it for less than a week, so I didn't really feel that I could add that to a best of list. And is this the Sum 41 was from 2024, so there we are. The last one in the CD category, if you like. Make 'Em Laugh, Make 'Em Cry, Make 'Em Wait by the Stereophonics. So you'll notice that there will be some Welsh in this year's best of list. I'm going to show you 4 albums now that I really, really like, and they are contenders for being best albums of 2025. But I don't feel it's fair to some of the other albums, because I've lived with these 4 albums for less than a month. and 2 of them for less than a week. And I think I got the last one like 12 days ago. So one really big album release for me this year, and one I would have included if I gotten it sooner, but I ordered it from the UK in order to get a signed photo of the band. So I only got it like I said about a month ago or something, and but I really enjoyed it because we haven't heard anything from the Charlatans in the better part of a decade. So this was Charlatans' brand new album, first since 2017, I think. It was probably 2018. Sorry. This is We Are Love, which incidentally I also got on CD because I collect them on CD. And here you see the signed photo that I got with this order, which I ordered through their website, which, as far as fulfillment goes, I think it's Townsend that deals with that. I bought this album. Was it on the? I think it was the 29th on Monday. It's Sunday today, the 4th of January. So these are the bets or the bits from New Zealand. A wonderful, jangly, indie pop record that I so far have really enjoyed. But yeah, I've been listening to it for 3 or 4 days here and there, among all the other things. So the bits didn't make the list because it's too new to me. And then, of course, again, only had this for a few days. This record was released, I think, in Sweden back in October. And from what they told me at Big Dipper and research, this is probably the biggest male artist from Sweden in Norway. And he's playing in February, I think, for about 7,000 or 8,000 people over at an arena over in Fornebu, west of Oslo. And yet you can't get his latest record in Norway. And I think the reason they said is that he just doesn't have any distribution here. He's on a record label who only caters to Sweden, apparently. And I think it's really weird. So I had to go online at Bengans to buy this. And I've only listened to it about 3 times so far in the week that I've owned it. So this is the brand new album from Håkan Hellström. I will be releasing a video in a few days where I talk about this album and all of this. And I do so in Swedish, which I hope the Swedes will forgive me. But I am part Swedish. So it's called Svensk Rost. And I really like it. But, some albums are maybe not quite as immediate as other albums. So I really loved it. But like I said, I don't think I can include it in my best of list when I've owned it for 3 days. And finally, this one would have definitely made my top 3 or 4, 5 maybe, but something like that. It's polk. Well, rather bad use of the word definitely there. Sorry. It's like the video I saw yesterday, where a guy who listens to artists sing, and then tells you what he thinks of that while he's listening. He said that the song. Was it Murder 54321 by Aurora literally killed him, and yet the video he still made the video. I thought that was very, very interesting. But so anyway, this is Paul Kelly 70. There will be a video with me showing me getting this video a few days ago. The young, and there's the current. He turned 70 in January 2025. And my brother turned 70 in November. So now, here's the list of records, or here's the records that I've liked the most of the new records this year. There are some records that aren't here, but it's a majority of new albums. And a couple of albums that didn't make the list simply because they didn't work for me. I tried. I'll try further. I got this back in September. So this is Big Thief, and it's Double Infinity. Now, I've been looking forward to the new album from Big Thief for quite a while now, since I heard it was coming out. And maybe it's me, maybe I'm not in a Big Thief mood, but I did listen to their previous albums again just before getting this, and I really enjoyed them. So something isn't quite gelling for me when it comes to this. So I would say that this... I think 24 it was Bernard Butler who was my biggest disappointment. In 25 so far, maybe I need to go back and maybe I'll find out something I don't quite understand or get about it. But no, this was my biggest disappointment of new albums in 2025. Another album that I had really high hopes for, and I do enjoy it, but because I love the artist, and I loved his previous 2 solo albums. It just doesn't grab me somehow. But yeah, so this is Robert Forster with Strawberries, and of course he sounds like Robert Forster, and again, it's in competition with way too much music that I've gotten this year. I will be spinning this again today, because I feel there's something wrong with me. But yeah, it didn't, it's of course from the Go-Betweens and all that. And there's, Mark showed was it his previous or 2 albums back as one of favorites in his vinyl tag. And I felt a tinge of almost like guilt over not liking this more, but we'll see. But didn't quite make it up there then because of that. Next up, I am sorry to say, we have to go to Scotland, and another album that I haven't quite... I was surprised that I got this for $20 roughly. I would say about 17 euros or 16 pounds. It was on sale, and I got it on vinyl because of that, because the vinyl was actually cheaper than CDs, because I have everything else by this band on CD. It's The Human Fear by Franz Ferdinand, and I'll admit I haven't listened to this enough. It sort of fell, behind something, or not literally, of course, but I think my problem with this album is that it doesn't sound like I expect Franz Ferdinand to sound, and it's the same problem I had with the 8th album by Kaiser Chiefs when it finally arrived. They threw a net far too big to show all their talents in sounding like not themselves, and I felt a bit like that with this album. But again, I still don't. I do feel that I've done it a bit of a disservice because I haven't listened to it enough. Next up is an album by a band I absolutely adore. And I think my problem with the album, if I have any problems with them, is that they have gone a bit away from the grandiosa of their sort of written manifesto. The songs have gotten shorter and maybe a bit more direct than one would have wanted them to be. And you'll have to excuse me, I don't remember the title of this album. And this is the latest album by the Mars Volta. I love the Mars Volta, and it sounds good and everything. But again, there's something just a little off here. And I feel like they've become too kind almost. And the reason I have the inlay card in front is in order for there to be something, because as you can see, otherwise it would just look like a brown paper bag. This is the hype sticker, and yeah, it's Lucra Suicio Los Ojos del Vacchio. So I think you can forgive me for not remembering the title. So yeah, again, not a bad album at all, but one that underperformed or underwhelmed me in some way or fashion. This album was one of my favorites when I first heard it, but it suffers a little bit from me having gotten a lot of records that are older and from bands I'm more familiar with and who are a little bit in the same track. And considering this is a fairly new group and band, I guess it kind of got shoved in the background a bit, and I haven't really managed to retrieve it from that background. I will be listening to this, all of these records I will be going through again now that I'm making this video, but yeah, and also because I have to love this album, of course, because it's a Welsh band, and it was one of the vinyl community inspirations for sure. So this is Mill on the Hill by Melin Melin. Melin Melin, Welsh, and means, I think it was yellow windmill. So I recommend this album, absolutely. So it's just dropped down the list a bit because of other albums and like I said, discovering other bands who are kind of like them have maybe made me forget them a bit. This one should be a bit higher, but for reasons of other bands and preferences, and maybe a little bit the same problem with the Mars Volta. I feel that they're becoming a little too direct and a little too... I feel they managed to uncomplicate themselves in a little bit. But this was a really nice album, and like I said, I need to go back to it more, but time. So this is Is by My Morning Jacket, and I love My Morning Jacket. So there's nothing wrong with this. There's just been pushed down by the things that I said. So maybe I would say, of course, this was a bigger surprise and a more joyful reunion with a band I absolutely adore and love. Bigger even so in those terms than the Charlatans, because we hadn't been waiting for this album since 2018. We had been waiting and basically just knowing there would never be another album by Pulp since 2001. But 24 years later, we got more from the Pulp, or rather, more from Pulp. And of course, immediately when I put this on, I was, oh wow, this is Pulp, and oh, it's so wonderful. But it isn't very immediate. It is sometimes a bit of a dirge if you're not in the Pulp frame of mind, I guess. But it really did. After a bit of a dip, when I was like, oh well, thanks for coming back, I guess. I'll admit I was a bit disappointed for a while, but then I kept listening to it, and later on, when their different class wonderful reissue came out, I did listen to this even more, and now obviously it's one of the high points of 2025. Probably my biggest sort of genre surprise this year was a dance album. Indie and peculiar vein of that moniker. Usually it would be Kylie Minogue who would be filling that musical bracket for me. But this year it was a Norwegian artist, and I heard one song and I thought, what the hell, I'll get it. And I enjoyed this a lot. This is Ora the Molecule with her new album Dance Therapy, and boy do we need both dancing and therapy in the aftermath of the garbage that was 2025. And she is Norwegian, half Norwegian and half either with Guatemalan or Honduran. And I actually think someone in the one community did pick this up because of me, and that made me happy. So was it Pulp or was it Charlatans that was the happiest return for me this year? Well, it might not have been either, because in January, a year ago now, we got a brand new album by one of my absolute favorite groups of all time, the Manic Street Preachers, and we got Critical Thinking. And I was so happy when I put in when I made this video, and I did a needle drop. And I think the needle drop, one of the needle drops at least, was in fact Critical Thinking. And I got a message from YouTube saying that my video had been blocked. So I clicked on that because I don't think that had really happened to me much yet at this time. So I clicked on what was the problem. Well, it had been blocked in 2 countries. And one of them ends with us, and the other one ends with ia. So that made me actually quite happy. I thought, yeah, well, I'll gladly get a block. There's several iterations of this album as far as album cover art and everything goes. I ended up with this very nice blood red. I did get one of those CD books because I collect them. Didn't get the single CD yet, so that part of my Manix collection is, and I tried to get this album cover, but I failed. So anyway, God, I love Manic Street Preachers. Deal to Manic Street Preachers. Next one, I was kind of set to be disappointed because their debut album was kick-ass. And then I heard one or two people saying, well, it isn't as good as the first one. But I actually think that this is maybe better because, first of all, it shows that this band is not a one-trick pony. It shows an absolute maturing as far as the prowess of the musical abilities of this band. They are now a proper band with several members, and this is Moisturizer by Wet Leg. And if you don't recognize this cover, it's because I went for the alternate cover, just because I thought it would be. I like the cover that they originally had, and here we go. But I think, if I remember back, I think Norman Maslow said something about this being a progression, and I would absolutely have to agree with that. So next up, we go back to the Scandinavian peninsula, but we cross what we call Kjølen, which is the a name we call the mountains separating Norway from Sweden, and we come to Tomma Intet. I had no idea that this band existed. I walked into the Big Dipper and I heard something that sounded really cool, and I looked over at the turntable and I saw this with its wonderful album cover. It's Hisingen Taxi Rider. Hisingen is a neighborhood in Sweden, and the Stora Blå, Östra Kyrkogården, etc. It's I find it difficult to explain this to you, but if you're a child of the 80s and sort of the 90s with weird indie bands with sort of a sometimes synth sensibility and so on, immediately when you see this cover and you hear that it's Swedish, you'll think, oh, this is probably black metal or something, but no, it's definitely not. don't worry about not understanding what they're singing about. You can learn Swedish, can't you? And then we traveled back across Fjorden and back to Norway. And this wonderful discovery, I went into a small record shop we have just a block or two away from here called Tiger. And here's the shop logo. And they specialize in Norwegian releases from Norwegian bands, and also they have a label and all that, and do what they can in order to promote Norwegian music. And one of those bands that I came across in there was Portuguese with pop songs. I think this is the second album. There might be an earlier EP from this Oslo band, and I know a couple of you guys in the vinyl community did order this and really liked it. It's, I would say it's fairly heavy shoegaze in a way. Fantastic soundscape of this band, and as a Norwegian, I have to recommend, Scandinavian music. I don't have any Danish to recommend you this time around, sorry, but I really, really do recommend if you check out Portuguese. Another album I was really happy about the arrival of, and who I've played the CD much more than a vinyl, which will be sort of evident in a second, is of course the brand new album from Suede. And Suede's, this and the previous album have been great and fantastic and wonderful. Really, they always have the sound. After the reunion, I think we all were happy that they were back and everything, but they did give us about 3 very mellow records, very introspective, and I knew that Suede could pick it up and kick up the jams, so to speak, but I felt that they really they in whatever sense Suede are able to rock out, they did that. However, I ordered a special edition of this album, and I waited too long. I didn't get the signed copy from the band or whatever. So, here's the record. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not overly happy about the inner sleeve here. And there's the record. And that's why I ordered this, because I wanted the white record, because I thought, well, I want something that is a little bit different than the But then I noticed, I noticed all of this opening it actually, and also you see there's this stiff board in here. And why is that, you think? Well, it's because this doesn't have an album cover. It has a poster. So antidepressants, and also the cover is different. So because it's what do you call that? A negative. Yeah, it's a negative. So I was negative towards the record looking the way it looks, but the music is really good. It's just, I wish I had gotten this album with a proper album cover instead, but there you are. But that's not the reason why it's not number one. It could very well have been. It's a great record. So that was actually sort of the last album in what I would call, guitar bands. So I have 4 more records to go here, and it was difficult to say which one was my favorite of this, but let's say this is at 4th. We have the brand new album from Stereo Lab and Instant Holograms on Metal Film. I kept putting it off because it was always so damned expensive everywhere. And then I think I got a gift card, and I ended up getting the black vinyl one because I had been holding out for the color variant. But that aside, it is a wonderful album, and I was very happy that Stereolab are back and haven't said that they're leaving us or anything silly like that, like some other bands have. More about that in a second. Next up, we go back to Wales, and we go back to, well, I was going to put this up as maybe my favorite album, but it slipped down a little bit because the other two albums are also very special to me. But this is, of course, Grafris with his latest solo album, Dim Probs. Been a big Super Furry Animals Grafris year for me. I've gotten this, I got the American Interior reissue, 10-year reissue, which was a beautiful record. I've gotten a couple of albums from his pre-Super Furry Animals days, which is the band Fuck Off with Paub. And I, of course, also got the 20th reissue of Lovecraft from Super Furry Animals. But this is a beautiful album. I love the soundscapes he makes on this one. It is in Welsh again, and as you can see from the songs, and I was very pleased with that. So the next artist is also from Wales and also from Cornwall, and she decided not to go all Cymru or Cymraeg or Carnivore this time around. So I was a bit skeptical to that, because Gwenno Saunders, to me, is an artist who should sing in Welsh or Cornish, which is done both, and not in that English. But she did. This is one of two copies of this album I got this year. This is Gwenno's Utopia, and it is my second favorite new album of 2025. It is wonderful, and the only reason it's not number one is because she sings in English. No, it's not. It's because the next album is even a little more special for me. But there are a couple of songs here in, I think there's one in Welsh and one in Igath, I think was in Cymraeg, and Hireth, I think, was in Carnivore, Cornish. The rest of the songs are in English, and of course her voice is still just wonderful, and the soundscape she makes and the mood she sets. Gwenno Saunders is a gem and should be. And yeah, I think even I have inspired some people out there in this Umami community to check out Gwenno, and there are Mike and a couple of other people who are very fond of her as well. So what is my favorite new album of 2025? Well, it is a band who released their previous album back in, I think it was 11 months before this came out. And that album didn't work for me. No siree. I thought it was... Yeah, it was dull. And a couple of albums before that, they are who they are. But this time around, they made an album that sounds like classic, product from them, and it's Saint Etienne, and sadly it's their last album. So they told us that they are not going to be recording any more music as Saint Etienne, and hearing this you're thinking, why the hell not? And they are playing in Oslo sometime next year at a very small venue, so maybe I should try and see them if I'm still around in various iterations. So the new album from Saint Etienne International, featuring the singles Glad, Brand New Me, and Take Me to the Pilot. And I ordered this version, which I'm lucky to say I found out before I threw out the packing material, that there was a CD in it as well with 4 additional tracks. And here's the beautiful vinyl. I've seen several in the vinyl community show this, and there they are, turning their backs to us. Yes, so this was Morten's favorite new albums and a couple of not quite favorite of 2025. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you're still with me, please click like, that helps my channel. If you want to subscribe, well, that makes me happy. Hello to my new subscribers. Wishing you guys a good 2026. I'm not one who's necessarily all positive, so going beyond wishing people a good 2026, I think would be like expecting to win the lottery, which I don't either. Thank you so much for watching all my videos in 2025, and I hope you have some comments about the various albums I've shown, and take care.